How's it going, you guys? I am Brian Beck. This is the discussion board for week 5. This is our SWOT analysis of our airlines or aviation companies that we've chosen. Spirit Airlines is what I chose to go with throughout this course. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about a little bit of their company structure. I have a lot of names listed here. This is kind of the board of directors, board of executives for the company. I'll touch on a couple of them that are kind of important to what the company's doing. So Ted Christie is the CEO, and we'll talk also about Lynn Grindle, who is their Chief Human Resources Officer. I figured that kind of plays with the course, and we're talking about who's running the company, and we're also talking about human relations and human resources, like we did last week. So Ted Christie's kind of an interesting guy. He's been with the airline as the CEO since 2012, which in the airline industry is quite a long time. It's a 10-year run with a single airline, which is pretty impressive. Before he was with Spirit, he used to work for a company called Pinnacle Airlines Corp. They're a holding company for different regional airlines. If you think Delta Connect or United Express, that's who Pinnacle Airlines Corp is. What's interesting about Ted Christie is he holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from U of A, which is where I went to school. I went to that very same business school at University of Arizona, and he's done a whole lot more than me, which is great for him. But I just found it interesting that he doesn't have a doctorate or a master's or anything like that. He's just got a plain old bachelor's degree. Moving on, Lynn Grindle is the Human Resources Officer, the Chief Human Resources Officer for Spirit Airlines. Now, she has been with the company for a little over 8 years and has spent almost 25 years in the human resources industry, most of which with different airlines. And what's interesting about human resources, it's a very different context of work than what you'd find with a CEO, but you're talking about a talent resource acquisition type of person. Now she focuses a lot on culture, driving brand engagement, trying to get executives, people in the company to really buy into what they're working on there, which is great. She's got a master's degree in organizational psychology, which sounds incredibly interesting. And then we'll break into the SWOT analysis here. So SWOT is our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Some strengths that Spirit Airlines has going for it is that they are incredibly cheap. They're probably the most affordable airline to fly on in the country. They've got a huge brand recognition. You think about who, you want to take a trip down to Florida on the cheap. Who do you think of? Spirit Airlines. Now, that's both good and bad. They've got a pretty solid route network. They go all over the East Coast, a few different places around the Midwest, and quite a lot of important destinations in Southern America. Some weaknesses of the company. They pretty much offer one product, and that's basic economy. They've got very limited services. And if you want to add anything extra, like a carry-on or a check bag, well, that's incurring a separate fee. Another weakness of the company, if you look at 10K form, is they've got pretty significant debt. They're basically financing their cash flow through interest payments, which is less than ideal, obviously. Some opportunities that Spirit Airlines has for them is that the pandemic is really starting to wind down as far as the whole coronavirus thing goes. Leisure travel is really swinging back just like it was in 2019. It presents a lot of opportunity for new business for them. And again, like I said earlier, they're one of the lowest fare airlines on the planet, not just in the United States. which presents them a lot of opportunity to find some new customers, and they're known for that. Some things that are threatening Spirit Airlines is that their debt has increased year over year since going back to 2015. Another one is that Spirit Airlines is kind of known for not really having the greatest customer service on the planet. And another one facing every other airline on the planet is fuel prices and inflation. It's a lot harder to operate an airline when your expenses are going through the roof and getting higher and higher every day. Creates a lot of economic tension for your group. And another threat is they've incurred all this debt and they've created almost a bankruptcy situation for themselves, that their competition, who would be Frontier primarily, is looking at buying out their stock, mostly just to have access to their route network, and aircraft and crew. But yeah, that's all I've got for you guys. But thank you for watching.